Hello everyone. You are watching a segment of the Countdown program from January 29, 2024. Today is Monday. See all of our programs on Patreon. I'll talk about the themes of the postscript later, but now about the most important thing. An Iranian-backed terrorist group carried out a strike that killed American troops. The US military has not suffered casualties since the beginning of the war in Gaza. A drone strike hit a U.S. base in Jordan where about 350 U.S. Army and Air Force personnel are stationed to fight ISIS. As a result of the attack, 3 soldiers were killed and another 34 people were injured. This event has put President Biden in a difficult position. Until now, the U.S. president has tried to avoid escalating already tense relations with Iran, which clearly supports the militants. Biden's first reaction was vague. We will force all those responsible to answer at the time and in the manner that we deem necessary. No one understood what exactly the president meant. He himself is probably still on the way to making a concrete decision. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said, "We will take all actions necessary to protect the United States, our troops and our interests." The United States, with the support of Britain and other countries, is already waging a military campaign against Yemen's Houthis, who continue to attack ships along the Red Sea trade route. Now, the US military will probably have to take on other Iranian-backed groups, but in a way that does not provoke Tehran into entering the war. Iran has so far refrained from striking Israeli or American targets, even in response to the killing of senior Iranian Revolutionary Guards commanders, which Tehran blamed on Israel before striking a base in Iraqi Kurdistan. And now how sharply the rates in the Middle East region will rise depends on the US response. The Kremlin is already licking its lips and predicting big troubles for Biden from the Republicans, who, if the conflict with Iran escalates, will pour a full tub of slop on the Democrats. And they expect with hope that Tehran will not stand it and will be drawn into the war in full. Meanwhile, the event in Jordan could provoke a split in the ranks of the Republican Party. While some politicians are holding back emotions in the spirit of Donald Trump's isolationism, others are calling for an immediate strike on Iran. Senator Lindsey Graham called on the US to strike Iran now. "Hit them hard," he said, and Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn posted a message saying that Tehran is the target, clarifying that this was not a call to bomb Iranian civilians. Following these statements, influential conservative Tucker Carlson called the 2 senators, "It's crazy." Republican favorite Donald Trump himself described Biden as a weak commander-in-chief, while he did not support any specific response to the event. This terrible day is further proof that we need to immediately return to peace through strength so that there is no more chaos, destruction and loss of precious American lives, the former president said evasively, without specifying what actions he had in mind. Meanwhile, it became known that the administration of President Joe Biden is considering the possibility of striking directly at Iran. Become our patrons right now and look further in this program. The first round of presidential elections took place in Finland last Sunday. The second round will take place on February 11. Meanwhile, the Pamfilovsky Central Election Commission of the Russian Federation registered Putin as a candidate in its pseudo-elections. Ukraine and Europe are waiting for the results of the EU summit, which will take place on February 1. On the eve of the summit, pro-Kremlin pacifists became more active. A march took place in Amsterdam under the slogan "Peace with Russia at any cost." The British Times again predicted a war between Russia and NATO. According to the publication, the leaders of NATO member countries are convinced that they have very little time and are preparing to agree on the introduction of a military Schengen system. Watch in the program, Postscript. The system began to intensively legend its agents abroad. Navalnyists are being tried in absentia, strengthening their agents in the EU countries and Britain. And Mark Fayden rushed overseas, hoping to legalize himself in the USA. The U.S. House Judiciary Committee released a report asking whether the Joe Biden administration intentionally caused the border crisis. And that is all. See our full programs on Patreon. And I welcome everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. Hug everyone. See you on Thursday. Glory to Ukraine.
Слава Україні!